gorgeous day outside the Rogers Centre as fans file in to watch the last game before the All-Star break. It's the Toronto Blue Jays playing host to the Boston Red Sox here at the Rogers Centre. Filling in for Buck Martinez, Sam Cosentino alongside Pat Tabler. And Pat, we have heard so much about the starting pitching and the pitching staff in general for the Blue Jays this year. But in this final homestand leading up to the All-Star break, it's been all about the bats.
The bats were a little silent on the road trip before they came home, but they have emerged once again. The batting average very good. 5 runs a game is the key. You got to look for that. Blue Jays have been averaging over 6 runs a game. Runners in scoring position, I think, are so important for the Blue Jays, hitting over 300 there, and the home runs. And the guy who has been leading the way with the home runs has been Jose Bautista. This is number 22. It's going to be an inside the park home run for Bautista. He's got a sprint to get that one. And then his last 2, fastballs out over the plate, line drives over the fence in left field. Such a good sign when you see Bautista cranking it out like that. And I guess there was a sign or a glimpse that this was going to happen for Bautista. We saw it last September when he hit 10 home runs. You add that to the 24 that he has hit, and nobody in baseball has hit more home runs than Jose Bautista.
That's shocking, and that is just great company to be in. And Bautista leading the way, and by a fair margin, 5 over the next hitter when it comes to home runs going back to last September. You know, Pat, when we go back to the starting rotation and talk about the Blue Jays pitching, that is something that has failed this team a little of late.
Yeah, it certainly has, because they haven't been able to get any length out of their starters. This is the last 7 games that the Blue Jays have had. The ERA is up there, but they haven't given the length for Cito Gaston. Just 33 innings for the starters over the last 7 games, and that puts a lot of pressure on the bullpen.
And Jesse Litch gets the call today, and Cito Gaston has put him on notice, saying that, hey, he's going to need to be better in order to stay at the big league level.
He pitched around 10 base runners in 5 1/3 innings in his last time out against Minnesota, and the problem as the game wore on was the ability to not get the ball down. He kept keeping the ball up, and in the 6th inning got the first batter. Then it was home run, single, double, and his night was over. It was time to turn it over to the bullpen.
So Jesse Litch will look to rebound, and he has a pretty good counterpart here today in Daisuke Matsuzaka, but Litch in general has been pretty good in his career against the Red Sox.
He really has matched up against the Red Sox, and the key for him is throwing strikes, working quickly and throwing strikes. We all know how the Boston Red Sox like to take a lot of pitches and make that starter work, but Litch has been up to the task in his 6 starts against the Red Sox.
And speaking of his counterpart, Daisuke Matsuzaka was absolutely brilliant against the Blue Jays going back to Tuesday, May 11th at Fenway. He went 7 innings, allowed just 3 hits for his 2nd win of the season. The Blue Jays hope to fare better here today.
news on Rogers Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Well, the ships are coming in here on the shores of Lake Ontario, just steps away from the Rogers Centre, where fans have filed in here this afternoon to catch the final game of this three-game set between the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. Filling in for Buck Martinez, Sam Cosentino with Pat Tabler here for you this afternoon. Terry Francona at 900 wins, thanks to the big win on Friday night. This is the lineup he'll throw out at the Blue Jays. Marco Scutaro leading the way, has hit well against the Blue Jays, his former mates, hitting .355 with 9 runs scored and 4 batted in. McDonald, Ortiz, and Euclid round out the top 4. Adrian Beltre hits 5th. Drew Hall, Nava, and Kevin Cash, the former Blue Jay, gets the start behind the plate.
Jesse Litch will face that lineup for the Boston Red Sox this afternoon. Litch looking for his first win of this season. I thought he did okay in his last start. Pitched into the 6th inning. He had 9 base runners that he pitched around. He just got tired, I think, as the game wore on. Pitches started going up. It went home run Morneau, home run Kubel, single Kadire, double for Tomei. It happened very quickly in the 6th inning, and Jesse was gone. When he is on, he is throwing strikes. Right now, he has not had the consistency in the strike zone. More walks than strikeouts so far for Litch in his 6 starts. Natural movement on all of his pitches. He can really make that ball cut away from the right-handers. That's something we'll be watching this afternoon. He's a strike thrower, so it's very rare to see him out of the strike zone. And looking for some finish on his pitches. That's the stuff that really makes him effective. As the ball gets towards home plate, the ball really jumps on the hitter, and there's a lot of movement on it. We have not been able to see that through his first 5 starts this year.
With good finish comes good location, and admittedly that's been an issue for Litch since coming off the disabled list. Start in the middle of June in Colorado. And for Litch, the way Cito Gaston has put it, it's been good, bad, good, bad, good, bad for Litch, or starting with the bad, bad, good in that regard, going back to that Colorado start. But here he is against Marco Scutaro and starts him off with a strike. Good signing by the Red Sox after Scutaro had the opportunity to play every day last year. Really flourished, was injured towards the latter part of the season. But the Red Sox saw something they liked, and they saw a whole lot of it throughout the course of last year.
And he fits right in with what Boston does. He's very steady in the field. He's got good hands. He doesn't hurt you defensively. Offensively, since Ellsbury's been hurt, he's been able to move into that leadoff spot and do what he does best.
And that's get on base at a close to .350 clip so far this year. So Scutaro, a real catalyst, and he's a guy with great versatility, not just what he can do defensively, but as far as being moved up and down the lineup. Scutaro awaits the 2-1. Kobe Ellsbury continues to work out. He's back from Arizona, where he did some rehab, and it looks as if he'll go down to Florida and really continue that rehab under the guise of the Red Sox. 2-2 pitch, misses.
Yeah, before they go on their 4-day break for the All-Star game, they wanted the Boston Red Sox medical people to take a look at him and see where he is. He'll go back down to Florida. Terry Francona would love to have him in his lineup soon.
Full count pitch to Scutaro, and Litch has his first strikeout of the afternoon, something we did not see any of on Tuesday against Minnesota.
Yeah, no strikeouts in 5 1/3 innings, but what we just saw was great life. Watch the movement right at the end to get under the bat of Scutaro. That is what was missing in his last few starts. Very good sign, the first batter here this afternoon.
And a good sign for the Red Sox, where Scutaro gets to look at 6 pitches here in the first at bat of the game. Makes way for Darnell McDonald. McDonald got into the game late yesterday, but did not start, and he has been a really nice find for this Red Sox team that's been battered and bruised all season long.
You talk about the Ellsbury injury. They also lost Jeremy Hermida early, and they lost Mike Cameron for a couple of stints on the disabled list. This guy came in, hit a couple of home runs his first game with the Red Sox, and the fans love him.
And a great story of persistence throughout his career. 1-1 pitch, misses up and in. McDonald, for the first time in his 12-year professional career, made an opening day lineup last year with Cincinnati. And he has not looked back since. And a nice addition for the Red Sox. Hit right back to Litch. 2 steps to first, 2 down.
Jesse Litch is a very good fielding pitcher. Tough to get it by that guy. The rest of the defense behind will be very busy with Litch on the mound. Lewis, Wells, and Bautista in the outfield. Blue Jays come in here 3rd in the American League in fielding percentage. The left side has been very busy also this whole series. John Buck behind the plate after a day off yesterday. Edwin Encarnacion has made some fine plays this whole series.
And now he will shift over to that shortstop spot with David Ortiz up here and 2 down in the top of the first inning. First pitch is a strike, and Pat, some technical difficulties here over the last couple of days at the Rogers Center, and it's playing somewhat like a sunroof, if you will.
Half open a little bit today. Some mechanical problems with the roof. Yeah, they had the problems a few days ago where they wanted to open it, but they were afraid that they were not going to be able to close it back up just in case it rained. So this afternoon we get the sun field along with the shadows around home plate. Could be very tough on the hitters this afternoon.
Something the Rogers Center people were working on until the wee hours. 11 o'clock last night, couldn't get it figured out. And with it being such a beautiful day here, they at least are able to roll back the sunroof, if you will. Ortiz, 17 home runs. Who would have thought that the last time the Blue Jays saw him? Litch misses away. You know, Pat, this field a little reminiscent of what you used to get in those 4 o'clock games at Fenway Park with that shadow right around the mound area.
Ball comes out of the sun and into the shade.
It does there. Ortiz goes the other way. Fred Lewis towards the line and makes the catch. So Jesse Litch goes 1, 2, 3. The Blue Jays will come to bat next. Lewis, Gonzalez, Bautista, and Wells. Lynn, Hill, and Overbay. And then John Buck, who has hit well against the Red Sox all season long with that .350 average. Edwin Encarnacion plays third base and bats ninth. Starting pitcher for the Boston Red Sox is Daisuke Matsuzaka.
Spent some time on the disabled list this year, so making just his 12th start of the year, his second against the Blue Jays. Missed the first 23 games of the season with a neck strain, and then was put back on the DL in June with a right forearm strain. Missed 14 games there. Also, that's why his numbers are down.
Fred Lewis leads it off for the Jays and looks at strike one. Fred Lewis continuing to do it at the top of the order. And in a spot that was badly needed for the Blue Jays, a true leadoff hitter who gets on base. He's got a little extra base power. We've seen him utilize the stolen base here over the course of this homestand.
You know, that's what's impressive is the extra base pop that he has in the bat. And when he gets on first base, he's been using that speed to his advantage.
Fouled out of play on the left side. Lewis is a little different than most leadoff hitters because throughout the course of his career, he's been a guy to attack first pitch or early in the count.
Fits right in with the Blue Jays, though, doesn't
sure
it?
Does.
And what Cito Gaston's trying to do?
Just like Scudero does with the Red Sox, a more patient guy who likes to work the count. Lewis not like that at all. Matsuzaka deals the 1-2, and it misses just away. Some great crowds over the course of this weekend. Several people coming in from Boston, and even Boston fans from everywhere, as well as several Blue Jays fans who really want to get a last crack to see this team for a little while as the Blue Jays will start the second half out on the road.
And why not? It's a fun team to watch, the Toronto Blue Jays. They hit a lot of home runs. They're exciting. They play hard. Cito was talking about that after the game. He wasn't real sure what his team would do trying to bounce back after that 14-3 thrashing on Friday.
Lewis 2-2 lifts it to left field. Nava is there. One down.
But they came out here and they battled really hard yesterday. That was a very entertaining game yesterday afternoon. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Daisuke Matsuzaka. You're going to see a little of this, a little of that. I mean, does anybody in baseball have more pitches than this guy? The fastball, slider, curve, forkball, changeup, two-seamer, four, just a little bit of everything. And he uses them all. Lots of pitches, about 4 per plate appearances, 18 per inning for Daisuke Matsuzaka. And when you watch him, at times he pitches away from contact instead of trying to make contact.
Deals to former teammate Alex Gonzalez, and you'll see that especially late in the count. He's got a reputation of getting ahead early and then nibbling later to go deep into counts.
Yeah, nibble, not being able to finish off guys. Now, he finished off the Blue Jays the last time they saw him. He allowed just 1 run with 9 strikeouts over 7 innings. But you're right. There are times where he gets ahead and then tries to use all those different types of pitches to put him away.
He's fallen behind 2-0 to Alex Gonzalez. What was most impressive about that start for Matsuzaka against the Blue Jays on May 11th was the fact he didn't walk anybody. Strike there dealt by Matsuzaka. And of all his career starts in the major leagues, that was the second fewest base runners he had ever allowed. Just 3 in that game. 3 hits, 2 by John Buck, 1 by Fred Lewis. And Gonzalez continues to show patience. Good hitters count here for Gonzalez. And it's been quite the year for this young man. You know, there was so much talk about Gonzalez getting snubbed for the All-Star team, but he is really one of those players who just kind of sits in the weeds. He's very quiet. He doesn't make any noise. But he is most impressive when you watch him on an everyday basis. This pitch hit to left center field. Going back is Nava. He won't get it. 1 hop off the warning track, and Gonzalez continues to pound out the extra base hits. It's a 2-out double for the Jays shortstop. 1-out double.
He's making noise with his bat. He might not go out there and talk about it. His bat is doing, and his glove is doing all the talking for him. Another game where he leads off with an extra base hit. 3-2, just looking for something out over the plate, and he just misses knocking this ball out of the ballpark. Short hops the wall in left center field, and the Jays are in business quickly. 25 doubles for Gonzalez.
Continues to put up the numbers and force people around the American League to look and say, hey, maybe this guy should have been more closely considered for the All-Star game. He gives way to the home run leader. Jose Bautista is swinging at the first pitch he sees. And there is some trouble. This ball in the sun, but Youkilis rediscovers it and makes the catch.
That could have been dangerous for the Red Sox, but Youkilis all over that one to secure the out. Defensively for the Red Sox, here's how they will line up this afternoon. Daniel Nava gets to start in left field with Darnell McDonald and setter J.D. Drew in right field. Scooterall Hall up the middle. Kevin Cash now will form the battery with Daisuke Matsusaka, and Adrian Beltre at third base has been very busy this series. He has made every single play that you can imagine in this series.
He reminds me a little, Pat, of Alex Gonzalez, in that just kind of sits in the weeds and he goes out and does his job. He's great defensively. He's been really good with the bat this year. The only difference is Beltre made the All-Star team and Gonzalez did not.
Well, he's picked up a lot of errors this year, but a lot of those came early and at Fenway Park. Fenway Park is notorious for, if you're a new player there playing every day, getting used to the hops. They're pretty weak.
But he has been dynamite all series long defensively. Vernon Wells on the ground. Bill Hall in perfect position. And the inning is over. So the Blue Jays strand and Alex Gonzalez one-out double. No score through one here at the Rogers Center.
And 44, ERA about the same. They sit ninth in the AL in that. But look at the home runs, 135 of them this year. 20 of them over their last 7 games. That is the second time this year that they have hit 20 home runs over 7 games. No other major league team has hit 20 homers over 7 games in either of the last 2 seasons. Blue Jays have done it twice this year.
The last time that happened before 2009, you have to go back to the 2000 team. As Kevin Youkilis kicks things off in the top of the second for Boston. Stretch in the 3rd week of June in 2000, the likes of Raul Mondesi and Brad Fulmer, the other Alex Gonzalez shortstop, Carlos Delgado, Shannon Stewart had a similar streak. This one check swing on the ground to second for Aaron Hill. Jesse Litch looking a little more like what we're used to seeing. Working quickly, pitching ahead, inducing contact. That's really his forte.
We're hoping that that last pitch was his stuff, and that's why Youkilis checked his swing on it and grounded out. The sun might have something to do with that, and the batter's eye and what they're looking at. Litch's stuff is a lot better than the last time we saw it.
Beltre, a first-time All-Star. You go back to the 2004 season when he was with the Dodgers. Had 22 home runs, 56 runs batted in before the break, and didn't make the All-Star team.
Little redemption now. His 13 home runs are tied with Alex Rodriguez and Evan Longoria for the most in the American League for a third baseman.
To Fred Lewis in left field, who takes one step onto the track. 2 down.
You could win an all-new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Game. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
So with 2 down, J.D. Drew steps in for the first time this afternoon. Drew off to a fine start in the month of July, hitting .346. First pitch hit on the ground. Overbay goes over, so too does Hill. Litch covers the bag. 1 pitch, 1 out for Drew. Jesse Litch throws 7 pitches in the inning and is retired all 6.
Well, he was great his first couple of years. Great winning percentage, earned on average. And had some injuries and played some problems and some disagreements on training and the thought process of what goes into getting ready for a game. And Matsusaka the last couple of years, just a .500 record and an ERA over 5.
He has had great success against the Blue Jays leadoff hitter here in the bottom of the second inning. Adam Lind kicks it off, and 0 for 17 lifetime against Matsuzaka, but it looks as if things are starting to turn around for Lind.
Yeah, for me it does. He is tracking the ball a lot better. He's hitting the ball with authority the other way a lot better than he did early in the season.
Pretty good hack as he fouls this one back into the screen. And Pat, you witnessed a rather interesting thing this morning, speaking of Matsuzaka and his training regimen.
We were down on the field about 10:30 today, and here comes today's starting pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, Daisuke Matsusaka, out there to get some throwing in. Did some long toss, did some regular throwing. Good cutter right there under the hand. Threw for about 20 or 25 minutes.
Wow, that's unheard of in North American training terms.
And that's where the disagreements were with he and the Boston Red Sox about preparation and what they want to do, because it's so different. He has always been a guy who's thrown a lot of pitches, and he feels like that's better for him. That's how he grew up, and that's how he maintained his stuff. Red Sox were, in North America, like you were saying, a little bit more protective of their arms.
Pitch on the way to Lind, strike 3. So the drought for Lind continues against Matsuzaka.
Good hard fastball for Matsusaka, up and away from Adam Lind. Can't catch up to it. Matsusaka has his first strikeout.
A great aura surrounding Matsuzaka. Posting fee of $51 million, a contract of $52 million, a $103 million investment as Aaron Hill lives this ball out of play. And you looked at the 2007 season, 16 wins, 200 innings pitched, over 200 strikeouts, and you thought, wow, maybe this is going to be a good investment. And some people in Red Sox Nation are starting to think a little differently about Matsuzaka. Aaron Hill on the 0-1. That's it. Right at the center fielder, Darnell McDonald.
Well, you can't fault him if he's hurt. Now, he spent the season, first part of the season, with back and neck stiffness. This year on the DL. Also had some sudden tightness in his right forearm that came up on June the 8th. That was just this year. 2009, he was on the DL for a little bit. He had a mild right shoulder strain in April and May of 2009. He also spent some time on the DL in 2008. So he's been battling the injury bug over the last couple of years.
I'm hoping to right the ship and get back on track. Still signed for 2 more years with the Red Sox. Overbay on the ground, right side. Euclid will take it himself. Quick work for Daisuke Matsuzaka in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Paul, Nava, and Cash next for Boston. Filling in for Buck Martinez, Sam Cosentino, along with Pat Tabler and Sportsnet.ca columnist Scott Carson here on a wonderful afternoon in the city of Toronto. The weather has been great over the course of this homestand. To wrap up the first half, a game above 500.
And every one of them that I talked to said that is very important. Finishing strong, finishing with a little momentum heading into the All-Star break.
The sentiment being there that the Blue Jays come out of the All-Star break, go up against Baltimore, 6-0 against the O's so far this year, and then go into Kansas City and try and make some early ground right after the break.
Don't tell the Texas Rangers that about the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah,
they've handled
it's been a tough go
the last couple of days down in Texas.
Including Cliff Lee's debut last night, in which he went the route, but gave up 6 runs in a loss to the O's. You looked at the numbers for Cliff Lee at the ballpark, and you said, "Whoa, wait a sec here." He struggled with an ERA up in that 6.7 range.
Did Texas look at that, or do they even care about that?
Nah, they just said, "Hey, we need one of the best lefties on the market. We were going to go out and get him." Nelson, the home plate umpire here this afternoon, with an interesting strike call. 2-2 count on Bill Hall.
from Litch. Interesting in that Litch basically has been told that every start, you should appreciate every start because you just don't know. And Cito Gaston's bad, good felt that if it will become a bad scenario in terms of his starts, that they may have to reconsider. Hit up the middle. Gonzalez to his knees, up quickly, and fires a strike to first base. Alex Gonzalez continues to amaze with the glove.
He can do it with the bat, he can do it with his arm, and he can certainly do it with his glove. The most impressive feat on that play we just saw was how quickly he catches, and watch, he gets up that quick. That is like Ozzie Smith. When Smith was with the Cardinals, I was amazed at how he could dive for the ball, catch it, and get up quickly and plant his feet and make a good, strong, accurate throw. Gonzalez does it just like the Wizard.
After a good play to start off the inning, Daniel Nava steps in and he swings at the first pitch. Overbay collects it. Litch covering the bag. Just like that, 2 down.
You know, to finish up that point you were talking about with Jesse Litch, I think any athlete who is a competitor, and Jesse Litch is certainly a competitor, he would want it that way, that, you know, I am going to be based on how I pitch. Nothing what I've done in the past matters. I'm here now. I'm going to compete, and my job is on the line. And I think any athlete would want to have that.
And pitching with a little added pressure here, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think for guys that really, you know, you put them on notice and their game suddenly steps up.
Former Jay Kevin Cash to Gonzalez in the backhand, and it'll be one hop over Bay. So calm and cool over there at first base, takes the long hop, and Gonzalez with 2 great plays in the inning. Jesse Litch 9 up, 9 down. Last year, but this year the season series still continuing in that trend.
And Red Sox have really taken it to the Blue Jays through the first 8 games of the series so far this year. They'll play them 18 times. What I like about the Jays game yesterday to pick up that second win is they never quit. They got behind, but they kept coming back against John Lackey and the rest of the Red Sox, and I think that's a very good sign 2 days before the All-Star break.
Yeah, and when the tendency is a team that's, you know, a little further back in the standings may just want to pack it in and play to get to the break, but the Blue Jays have showed no signs of that. John Buck, the All-Star, fared well against Matsuzaka in that game on May 11th, doubled and singled in that game. 2 of the 3 hits given up over 7 innings by Matsuzaka. And he continues that hot hitting trend against the Red Sox starter with a base hit up the middle.
What an approach against the breaking ball. Matsuzaka can throw a little bit of everything, but John Buck is really locked in right now. seeing everything. Watch him stay back, recognize this pitch as a curveball, stay right on it, bang it right back through the middle.
I've liked his at-bats. I've liked his game in general all year long, but especially since being named an all-star. He seems to have a little more edge, a little more confidence in his game. Encarnacion, the 9-hole hitter. Looks at ball one from Matsuzaka. A little more swagger and maybe a little more step for John Buck.
And he should. He should. He deserves it. He has had a very good first half.
Way inside to Encarnacion. Buck was just so fired up once being named, elated, trying to get his dad into Anaheim from the inner part of Alaska, which is no easy task. We'll try and soak it all in once he leaves tonight and heads to Anaheim with Vernon Wells and Jose Bautista. I think that's a great way to do it. You don't just go as the lone guy, but you get to share the experience with a couple of teammates.
With your friends and teammates. And it's a hectic couple of days. I mean, it really is, especially if you have to go out to the West Coast like the Blue Jays players have to. You leave after the game, and Monday is just filled with all kind of, ceremonies and, getting acquainted and all that kind of stuff. Banquets, dinners. Then you've got the whole thing on Tuesday, and then it's back to work on Wednesday.
So Encarnacion now drops this ball into left field, and the Blue Jays have runners at first and second with no one out here in the bottom of the third inning.
Blue Jays can throw some thunder at you at the bottom of that lineup. The way John Buck and now Encarnacion, who's had a very good homestand. First two batters to reach here in the third inning. Buck singled, and now Encarnacion closes that front shoulder and is able to pull that outside pitch into left field.
7 for 19 on the homestand for Encarnacion. Fred Lewis steps in. Beltre's in at third, right along the baseline, and Lewis looks at a ball away for strike one. Fly out to left field in the first inning. We talk about some thunder at the bottom of the lineup. Fred Lewis providing a little of that at the top. And this one is just foul. Euclid emphatic in making the call as well. But at the last second.
He is right on that line at first base, Kevin Euclid, and he had just as good a look as Mark Carlson did. This ball is hooked by Lewis. And watch Euclid. Making as an umpire, watch him, that ball's foul. And it just goes foul. Freddie Lewis wanted that RBI base hit. And he's got to go do it all again.
You see Beltre off the line at third. Maybe he'll do what he did yesterday. A little check swing, double to left field right down the line. It sets up that way for him now. 0-2 pitch. And Lewis fouls it off, keeps the at-bat alive. Matsuzaka, and that sun line, or the shadow line, if you will, now cutting the mound in half.
Yeah, and the ball will be coming out of the sunlight and into the shade. Helps a little bit for the batter. You got to really concentrate.
1-2 to Lewis. Swing and a miss. Strike three.
Daisuke Matsuzaka has a good cut fastball this afternoon, and Fred Lewis sees it firsthand. Watch this pitch and watch the reaction from Lewis. He sees it and then wanted to hold up, but then continues on with the swing. You've got a good one of those going on a day like today. You can pick up a lot of strikeouts.
Teams like New York, Tampa Bay have really tied up Fred Lewis by pitching him in. And Matsuzaka gets the strikeout there, making way for Alex Gonzalez. Step off, sends Buck back to the bag at second. Gonzalez doubled and was stranded in the first inning. First pitch low and away. Kevin Cash has been a really nice pickup for Boston.
Yeah.
We're very familiar with him.
Played for them in the last couple of years and picked him up from Houston. A very valuable guy with their 1 and 2 guy going down, their catchers. He has caught Matsusaka in the past.
This ball lifted to the right side. Euclid will give chase. Does he have enough to get there? No, he doesn't. And how about Gonzalez? Swinging a big stick yesterday.
Well, the extra base hits just keep coming for Gonzalez. How you want to take a shot of how he stayed back on that breaking ball, just exploded through it off of John Lackey. That was perfect. Double clutch, kept his hands back, and then exploded through that and pulled it into the bullpen for the home run.
Continues to impress. 17 home runs. That's a lot of production out of the shortstop position, and something the Blue Jays haven't seen a ton of. Scudero gave it to them in a different way last year, but not quite the power numbers that Gonzalez has put up. 1-1 pitch, a little chop swing.
Sunball. Used to call those sunballs. That's the kind of ball. It's hard to pick up the spin of a baseball when the pitcher is in the sunlight and the ball is coming into the shadow. That's why I said with a good cutter and a good breaking ball, that works to Matsusaka's advantage here. You see it, but then it gets into the shadows and you lose the spin of the baseball.
How will Gonzalez deal with it here? And he fouls it off again. One thing I noticed a ton of in yesterday's game, the number of foul balls, especially against Brandon Morrow. He got up to 103 pitches in 4 innings of work, 23 foul balls by the Red Sox, and that really can build up that pitch count. It worked against this guy.
And he said it after the game. They really make you work. They really make you earn it, throwing so many extra pitches because they foul off good ones.
So the Blue Jays trying to turn the table here. This one hit in the air to right field. J.D. Drew is back. John Buck is tagging. The relay hits Bill Hall, and Buck advances. Well, Encarnacion retreats, so there are runners at the corners with 2 down.
And how important is that now by Buck tagging up and going to third base? If a batter has trouble trying to catch a breaking ball, what do you think the catcher sees? Same thing. Tough to pick up the spin. He knows what's coming, so that helps a little bit. Buck moves up on the fly ball to right field, and maybe he can score on a wild pitch for Matsusaka.
3 wild pitches by Matsuzaka this year. Bautista, mighty hack. So many people disappointed in these parts that Bautista wasn't selected as a participant in the home run derby, and you can count me in that group.
Yeah, me too. I raised my hand. Just for the recognition and the excitement. The guy's got 24 home runs, the most in the big leagues.
And Matsuzaka wants to back him off the plate. In consecutive at-bats here, Bautista is really taking a hard cut at the first pitch he's seen.
Yeah, and the pitcher's got to move him off the plate. Purpose pitch just to say, hey, I don't want you digging in there too much. I'm going to push you off the plate. That inner half is going to be mine.
4 Red Sox players were hit by pitch yesterday. Runners at the corners for Bautista. Fouled straight back behind the plate. And I think when you look at Bautista and the home runs he's hit, you go back to A.J. Burnett, the home runs we've seen here other than the inside of the park area, they're not cheapies. And so to me, this guy is the perfect participant in the home run derby.
Why not? Why not? It'd be a good sell. You got the major leagues leader in home runs in there.
1-2 pitch. Check swing, and it's called a strike. So Bautista strands two. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets out of a jam with a good pitch against Bautista. No score, 3-3 at the Rogers Center. Guests of TD Canada Trust and friends courtesy of TD Canada Trust. A great place to watch the game from and a perfect afternoon to do it here at the Rogers Center. I hope we get down there for one this year as we have in years past.
Yeah, we have to.
It's a blast.
There's no place better to watch a game than right down on the field like that.
Got the in-seat service coming to you with drinks and food if you need, popcorn, hot dogs.
No wonder I haven't seen you so much when we're down there, because you're always eating.
Well, that's the way it goes sometimes. Top of the order, and now Jesse Litch sends a little message to Scudero. That gets a few of the fans here. Gets their hands clapping a little bit. Shows a little bunt there, does Scudero, but then backs off at the last second. They even the count at 1-1. Pitch away to Scudero. When he was hit in yesterday's game, there was some mention that he may have been upset and turned towards the Blue Jays dugout. But if you happen to know Scudero at all, he's a bit of a joker, and I would have to think that was more done in jest.
Yeah, just clowning around, I think. He acted like he was going to throw the bat and then kind of grabbed it real quickly. Yeah, he's a fun guy to have on your team. Very animated, very outspoken.
Loves to play, plays hard. This one, Litch into the sun, follows it closely and makes a nice throw over to Overbay at first. That's a tough play coming off the back of the mound.
A lot more difficult than you think it is. You know, you release the pitch and you're about 55 feet from home plate. Then you have to pick the ball up and back up, go up the mound, down the mound, catch it, and then throw around it. Watch Litch from here. He lets go. Now he's got to track it. He's got to go up and then down. I've seen guys go down the
down
on the ground, falling down that backside of the mound. Litch flawless on that one.
Darnell McDonald, first pitch. Popped up towards the middle of the infield. Overbay. Hill is there, and Hill takes it at the last second, but he too had plenty of trouble.
Jesse Litch, after you deliver the pitch, you become a traffic cop. You start to tell the guys, hey, I got it, you move out of the way, and all that kind of stuff. He tells that Aaron Hill, put your sunglasses down, it'll make it a lot easier.
Yeah. Now he will shift into right center field now with Big Papi up, then Encarnacion, and a shift to shortstop. First pitch to Big Papi is away. Pat, you and I aren't the only ones who think Jose Bautista should be in the home run derby.
Yep.
Ortiz was very outspoken about it.
That Bautista was not in it?
Should be in
sure,
it. Yeah.
Sure. Everybody knows if you're the major league leader in home runs.
They asked him who he thought his biggest threat might be, and he said, well, my biggest threat is the guy who's not in the event.
He's my pick to win it.
Big Papi?
Mm-hmm.
Good cut there. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good choice. He's participated 3 or 4 times previously, never finishing better than fourth. But I think aside from what he's done here to recover in this first half, that would be a pretty good exclamation point to say, hey, I'm back.
Yeah, I can still turn on pitches and get them in the air.
2 down and a 2-1 pitch inside to Ortiz.
You know, I know why the fielders do not have their sunglasses down. You can't see. You can't see the ball off the
coming
bat.
Out of the shade?
Coming out of the shade. And that's why all the infielders have the glasses up above their hat like that. Problem is, when it goes up, they don't have the flip kind where you can just flip them right down and make the play.
I remember a young Pat Tabler used to feature those quite prominently.
Oh, well, yeah, back in the olden days.
Yeah.
You ever see me try and use those things?
They're a little easier to handle, and this is the exact situation in which those flip downs were built for.
Yeah. You know, you can't see it. There's shade up there, so it's very dark. You can see it on your telecast right here, how dark it is. It's tough to pick the ball up off the bat.
Quick count to Ortiz, and he extends the at-bat.
But once that ball goes up in the air, that's where you need those flips, so you can just flip them down.
And we have seen that come back to haunt the Blue Jays.
Johnny Mack had a pair on. Didn't he have the flips on?
Ortiz, check swing, and draws the walk. First base runner of the game for Jesse Litch, and it comes here with 2 down in the 4th inning.
He's got a little something extra on his fastball this afternoon, does Jesse Litch. See David Ortiz check his swing on that good fastball.
Many Red Sox fans feel that Youkilis might have been selected. He was up for the final man vote, but it's pretty tough to go against Nick Swisher when he's got the Mirror New York, entertainment stars, movie stars, a Twitter account with over 1.2 million people on his Twitter, and he tweeted his way into the All-Star game. On the ground and just foul down the third base line. And he tweeted himself right into the home run derby.
Right. He's the 4th American League entry into the home run derby. Now, that's not picked by popular vote, is it?
I think it's Major League Baseball kind of asks and invites, maybe with some suggestions from the All-Star team coaching staff and manager. But I like Cabrera. Cabrera's my guy.
That's Buck's guy, too.
Yeah. His power is just, it's ridiculous. 76 runs batted in here in the first half. Oh, man. Healthy and sober and putting up great numbers for the Tigers. Buck keeps it in front of him and keeps Ortiz at first.
That is a nice play by John Buck right there. Looked like a slider or a cutter, something down and away from him. In his reaction, he slides over, stays low. Keep your elbows against your body, which he does right there, and he knocks it down and keeps it in front of him.
Great respect for Buck in that as long as he's played, he came into this season and was open to all kinds of instruction. And I think he's really improved behind the plate this year. This is away to Youkilis now. One of the prototypical on-base guys in the game, Kevin Youkilis. Two down in the top of the 4th inning. David Ortiz is on first. He's on his way. Youkilis fouls it away.
He has that ability, like a lot of these Red Sox hitters, just foul off nasty pitches and keep at-bats alive. That's one of the reasons why his on-base percentage is the best in Major League since May the 1st.
That's what he was known for, going back to Michael Lewis's book, Moneyball. The Greek god of walks, he was deemed in that book.
But there's so much more to his game.
There he goes. Keep fouling off.
That's a tough pitch there. He's got power. He plays a great first base.
And I thought was really good at third before he switched over to first. We saw him in the outfield a little bit. Great athlete.
Yeah, won a Gold Glove over at first base for the Red Sox a couple of years ago. Drives in tough runs, hits well with runners in scoring position. Plays hard every day.
And the pain when he's doing this at bat. Poppy on the move again. This one hit high into the sky. Jose Bautista with the glove up to shield it. Bautista falling down makes the catch. The sun wreaking havoc with the sunroof rolled open here at the Rogers Center. Big Poppy walks. He's stranded. It might not have been if it wasn't for that.
Local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Bottom of the fourth inning at the Rogers Center. No score between the Red Sox and the Blue Jays. Sam Cosentino and Pat Tabler with you on this Sunday afternoon. Vernon Wells leads things off for the Blue Jays in the bottom half of the fourth inning. All-star Vernon Wells. Matsuzaka, first pitch from Wells. It's straight up in the air. Kevin Cash, all shade for the Sox catcher.
You could win an all-new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Game. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
One down for Adam Lind. Matsuzaka has given up 3 hits in this game. 1 to Alex Gonzalez. And back-to-back singles in the bottom of the third by John Buck and Edwin Encarnacion. And now Lind yanks the first pitch he sees well into the seats. It has been oh so tough for Lind against Daisuke. Pitch misses away. And that little pause at the top of the delivery. Just have to wonder if that messes up Lind's timing at all.
You know, it shouldn't. Remember, Gustavo Chacin had a little one of those pauses right there. I mean, that's not what you're focusing on right now. You are focusing on that ball.
Way inside to Lind.
And when you focus on the ball and you put a good pass on the ball, good things happen. That's what happened yesterday against the lefty. They bring the left-hander in just to face Adam Lynn, and he crosses them up with a long home run to left field. That was the vintage player that we saw last year.
Looked to me like tape from 2009. 2-1 to Lynn. This one popped up to the left side. The shortstop Scudero going back, raises his hand and makes the catch. So the streak against Daisuke for Lind extends to 0 for 17 lifetime. Let's make it 0 for 19 lifetime.
Yeah, 0 for 17 coming into this game.
Aaron Hill hitting below the 200 mark, but you still have to be somewhat impressed that he's got 11 home runs and he's driven in 31. Cito Gaston has been asked so many questions about Aaron Hill and Adam Lind. And the numbers they combined to put up last year were outerworldly. This year, not so much, but the production okay considering the average is as low as it is.
Two players that are primed for a good second half. They really are. They go out there and they still work very hard. You just get out there, get your swings in, and all of a sudden it starts to click.
This one just foul on the left field side.
I've noticed a lot more breaking balls thrown to Aaron Hill this year from all of the pitchers. Lots of off-speed stuff and fastballs up out of the strike zone, trying to take advantage of him being a little bit over-anxious. Kevin Cash setting way up outside.
What's more important when you want to hit the breaking ball? We've seen Gonzalez. Is it more important your lower half or your upper half in your arm?
You have to stay back, first of all. It looks like at times that Aaron is jumping out there and trying to get the ball instead of letting it come to him and then hit it. I think that's the most important thing. Let it break, let it come to you, and then attack it.
This is low and away. All about adjustments, the game of baseball. Hitters adjusting to pitchers, pitchers readjusting, and then the hitters having to readjust thereafter. Again fouled off as Hill remains behind in the count 1-2. Such mystique surrounding Matsuzaka when he signed out of Japan. 1-2 pitch. Hill checks his swing. And I remember the Shuto, as it was called, the pitch he brought with him from Japan, and people couldn't figure out whether it was a splitter, a changeup, a cut changeup, a regular changeup. It was simply called the Shuto. And that, along with the millions of pitches you mentioned in your scouting report, part of his repertoire.
That's why it makes it so difficult to hit him. You don't know what he's going to do.
Two strikes to Hill. This one is caught by Darnell McDonald, who runs it down in the right center field gap. So Aaron Hill robbed of an extra base hit. No score through 4. 2010 Major League Baseball All-Star Game, Monday, July 12th and Tuesday the 13th. The Home Run Derby takes place on Monday, and the 81st All-Star Game goes Tuesday, July 13th, 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific starting time for both on all of our Sportsnet channels. You get to see the likes of John Buck, Jose Bautista, and Vernon Wells represent the Blue Jays in Anaheim. Top of the 5th inning at the Rogers Center. No score in what has been a pitcher's duel to this point. Jesse Litch has allowed one walk that last inning to David Ortiz. Beltre putting together a marvelous year. Hit on the ground. Alice Gonzalez, so slick with the hands. An efficient performance to this point for Jesse Litch.
That is not a good sign. We were going to let that one play out. They have had so many injuries. And the day before the All-Star break, they cannot afford to lose that guy. Something happened on his way down to first base.
Go down into the tunnel there. There is a little bit of room to get stretched out on your way back to the visitors clubhouse here at the Rogers Center, and Beltre disappears that way.
Wow. That is not good whenever you've got a hamstring problem.
Right side, Aaron Hill throws out Drew. 2 down.
You know, everybody was talking about Beltre and what a great sign it would be because he fits so well at Fenway Park with that green monster, but he's hit .350 on the road. He has actually hit better on the road than at Fenway Park. That would be a big loss if something would happen with him.
Be interesting to see what they do with their bench. I mean, who's going to play third base? You might have to move Euclid over, put Sheely at first. Yeah. I mean, I guess that would be the move, but there's really technically no backup third baseman.
Well, Bill Hall has played 6 different positions for the Boston Red Sox this year. That's him hitting there. He's starting at second base. You can also put in Eric Patterson and then slide Hall over to third if you want.
Hall hasn't played third this year of all those positions.
Add it in there. He played some third with Milwaukee. He's played the outfield, a little bit of everywhere.
Those type of players are really becoming so important in the game. You've seen them with Tampa Bay. You see it with the Yankees a little bit. Guys that can play several different positions. John McDonald, a perfect example of that with the Blue Jays.
Well, it allows you to take an extra pitcher. With the 12 and 13-man pitching staffs, players like Bill Hall become very important to your club. Or a Sean Rodriguez from Tampa Bay. Reed Brignac and Ben Zobrist from Tampa. All interchangeable
Infield,
parts.
Outfield, all over the place.
Yeah. John McDonald, that guy with the Blue Jays.
And has really kind of become the unofficial third catcher added to his resume here over the last couple of years. 2 down, 1-2 pitch to Bill Hall. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Jesse Litch, 1 over the minimum. Beltre down the line. Is it a bad hammy or not? We'll see next. Honored their All-Stars. Vernon Wells, Jose Bautista, and John Buck presented with their All-Star jerseys. And great recognition on their part, and congratulations to all three of those gentlemen who will make their way to Anaheim after the game this evening. And there he is, the All-Star catcher, taking the place of Victor Martinez, the Red Sox catcher who's injured. Bautista, the Majors' leading home run hitter with 24 coming into the game, and Vernon Wells, a really resurgent year for the Jays center fielder. Some concerns as to whether or not Adrian Beltre would get back out there, but he surely looks uncomfortable out there. First pitch swinging for Lyle Overbay. Daniel Nava, the left fielder, in the sun.
Beltre probably got that thing wrapped up. The ball pops up and he doesn't even go after it, knowing that that ball is going to land in the glove of the left fielder. Probably got it wrapped up just to give it a little extra support to finish off this ball game.
We'll see if he has to move defensively at all this inning, if that affects his status the rest of the game. Maybe something the Blue Jays can take advantage of a little later on with some of their speedsters. But John Buck's more an extra base guy than a bunter, that's for sure. Buck well on his way to putting up career numbers. "13 home runs already."
His career high is 18. He established when he was a member of the Kansas City Royals, and he's battled some injury problems the last couple of years. I believe his lower back. And you know, as a catcher and as a hitter, how tough that is to get that bat head out.
He's a guy, Pat, when you watch him in batting practice, I mean, he's as impressive as anyone in the major leagues in batting practice.
Strong.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
country strong.
Very strong. Noticed it the first day that I saw him down in Texas in the workout before the season started, how he was staying back and really spinning on the ball. His momentum wasn't going forward. It was basically staying centered, what you want to do. When you've got that kind of strength and that kind of good swing, good things are going to happen.
You want to use that catcher's lower half. 1-2 pitch to Buck. Swinging it pretty good there.
Yeah, he's seeing it. So he said his first time up when he got the curveball from Matsusaka, he's seeing the ball very well. He and Encarnacion seem to be really focusing and zeroing in on Matsusaka quicker.
Matsuzaka works inside the Buck. Really started to turn things around when he took batting practice from Bruce Walton. Moved him up, started throwing him some breaking balls, helped with his timing, and he's not looked back since. This time, Matsuzaka gets him looking.
Well, the Red Sox think they can get inside on John Buck with a good fastball. They don't want him to extend those arms and get the bat head out. So with 2 strikes, Matsusaka pinks the inside quarter. Tough for a hitter to pull the trigger on a good fastball like that.
2 down for Edwin Encarnacion inside. One of the Blue Jays' 3 hits on the afternoon, a single in the 3rd inning, but was stranded. Blue Jays with a couple of opportunities in that inning. Lewis struck out. Gonzalez flew out to right field, and then Bautista struck out with 2 on to end the inning. So that has been the most of the offense we have seen in this game. 3 hits for the Blue Jays. Encarnacion with 1 of them. Do you see much difference, Pat, in Encarnacion since he's come back from Las Vegas?
I see him tucking his shoulder just a little bit more and staying on the ball a little more. It looked like his front side was flying out of there earlier this season. That could be that he was a little bit too anxious to hit the ball.
He's hit 269 since he's come back, when before he left that average hovering around 200.
Yeah, way down there. Hitters, when they don't have the spring training or the at-bats, they want to be very anxious and hit the ball as hard as they can. That's when that front side starts to leak. Since he has come back, he has stayed back on the ball. His front side stays closed. He sees the ball better. He's hit some balls up the middle hard. And then when they make the mistake, he's been yanking balls to left field.
I think a product of what you're talking about before going to Las Vegas, you saw a lot of that flying open and balls hit weakly up in the air to the right side. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out for Encarnacion, and he keeps the at-bat alive. Blue Jays at 44-44 heading into this, the 89th game of the season. The unofficial first half will come to a close after this game. Cito Gaston has been impressed with what his group has been able to do, especially when pundits at the start of the year figured this team to be well below the 500 mark at the All-Star break.
Impressed with what they have done pitching-wise in the first half. When the season started, it was, oh, what are we going to do without Roy Halladay? But as they head into the break, the Blue Jays pitching staff leads the American League in strikeouts. Coming into today, over 650.
Well, check the swing down to first base, and Mark Carlson says, hey, that's a strike. Encarnacion didn't think so. Mark Carlson did. You decide. Between Matsuzaka and Jesse Litch.
Yeah, it certainly has. Matsuzaka's just given up 3 hits, a double to Gonzalez, a couple of singles to the 8 and 9 hitter. Hasn't walked a batter, 5 strikeouts. Jesse Litch just 1 batter over the minimum. That was the 2-out walk that he had to Ortiz back in the 4th inning. He has looked extremely sharp so far today.
And really doing the things you talked about in your scouting report. Finishing pitches, good movement. And it's worked out so far for Litch, who deals to Daniel Nava to start off the 6th inning. Litch has thrown 62 pitches to this point. And maybe Pat starting to feel and respond to that pressure that you and I talked about, knowing that any start could be his last here at the big leagues.
Certainly pitching that way. Pitching with a purpose. His numbers have been very good against the Red Sox in his career. 4-1. versus the Sox in 6 career starts. Those are the most for Litch versus any club.
And 2 misses away. Sometimes it's just one of the quirks in baseball, why teams match up better against some pitchers and why some pitchers match up against teams. One of the quirks.
Yeah.
And Nava strikes out. The 3rd strikeout of the game for Jesse Litch. Between innings, Adrian Beltre went to Terry Francona. They had a discussion, and it wasn't long thereafter when Beltre said, I think that's about it for me.
You know, if it's just a slight pull of the hamstring right now, get him out before he does further damage where you're gone for 6 weeks.
And you can give him essentially a half day here, the All-Star break. And don't take any chances with someone who's been an All-Star. But I guess that's the other thing you have to consider, too. If he can't answer the bell for the All-Star game, what happens there and possible replacements. But he's made his way back out onto the bench. So we'll see if he comes out. But that would beg the question if for whatever reason he couldn't play, maybe Alex Gonzalez gets the call. Wouldn't that be interesting? He'd surely have to be considered. Kevin Cash came over in a deal with the Houston Astros, and you have to feel that familiarity with Brad Mills, who was Terry Francona's former bench coach. Mills going over to Houston and knowing Cash and was instrumental surely in getting them over there to start the season. But Angel Sanchez dealt the other way to bring Cash back with all the injuries behind the plate that Boston has suffered.
So we got a Cash behind the plate for Boston today and a Buck behind the plate for Toronto. Those guys are some money.
I'll take the Cash. 2-2. Good breaking ball from Litch.
Totally freezes Kevin Cash, the batter for the Boston Red Sox. An overhand curveball, looking for something away. He gives up on it, cannot pull the trigger. And that's 3 straight strikeouts now for Jesse Litch.
So Litch continues to forge forward here in the 6th inning. With 2 down, it's back to the top of the order for Marco Scudero, and a good start to the at-bat for Litch.
Scudero has been a very steady player for him. He's played in 84 games for the Red Sox this year, and he has hit safely in 64 of them. That is something that you love to see for a batter at the top of the lineup. Get on base any way you can.
Really good signing. So much speculation last year on whether or not the Blue Jays would re-sign Scudero. And when the Red Sox jumped out and got in there early on the bidding, Scudero found a new home. This one hit hard to center field. Vernon Wells chasing it back. He won't get it. That's the first hit of the game. Scudero rounds first, will pull up to second. And that is the first hit of the game against Jesse Litch here with 2 down in the 6th inning.
What a job for the right hitter. The Blue Jays going to get a nice hand from the fans here at Rogers Center. No-hit baseball. 2 outs into the 6th inning, and it's Marco Scudero. He has reached base in 72 of those 84 games and make it 73 and 85 now. Takes that pitch down and away from him, drives it over Vernon Wells' head for extra bases.
So Litch will do his best here to keep Scudero at second base. 2 down for Darnell McDonald. McDonald 0 for 2 in the afternoon.
First time that the Red Sox have got a runner to second base. So Jesse Litch and John Buck want to make sure they are on the same page when it comes to what sign they're going to be using.
And now off to work out of the stretch, so a little bit of a an adjustment there here. 76 pitches. An efficient afternoon so far for the Jays righty. He's fallen behind McDonald 2-0.
And McDonald knows, and Jesse Litch knows who is on deck. You want to get that right-hander before you have to face Big Papi.
Donald doesn't even want to let it get to Big Papi. He's got one out there in Scudero and scoring position.
Well, he knows with him hitting behind him, he's going to get something to swing at. They don't want to be walking him. So he'll get a pitch to hit.
McDonald 2 for 5 with a run scored in the opener on Friday night. And Litch has fallen behind 3-1. Well, you have to have a lot of respect for McDonald, who bounced around the minor leagues, but continued to show persistence. When I spoke to him after the game Friday, he said, hey, it's all part of the journey. Just never give up. McDonald, left field. This one's hit well. Fred Lewis is back, and he'll watch it sail over his head. Darnell McDonald. Second hit of the game, and the Red Sox take a 2-0 lead. Second hit of the game off Litch proves to be costly. Boston out in front.
Looked like some kind of off-speed pitch to McDonald. A cutter, a slider. Watch this ball. Over the middle of the plate. It speeds up the bat of McDonald. This will be home run number 6. And again, with Big Papi behind you, you got to figure he was looking for something out over the plate.
You hear so much about that protection in the lineup and what it means, and that was a prime example there. And now Big Papi hits with nobody on, but the damage already done. And to think that this guy was hitting in the 140s with 1 home run and 4 runs batted in at the end of April. To think how this has turned around to the point where he's been selected as an all-star. Ortiz really felt all along that he had lost nothing. And in that last series in Toronto, he was pinch hit for in a game here and a couple of days before that. And it didn't look good. There was some serious damage.
He kept telling everybody, hey, I'm all right. Don't worry about it. It's early in the season. Things are going to be just fine.
And yes, they are. He too will add to his total. Big Papi home run to right field. Red Sox lead it 3-0 on Ortiz's 18th of the year. Back-to-back home runs off Jesse Litch. He had not allowed a hit coming into the 6th inning. Scudero doubled, McDonald a 2-run shot, and David Ortiz with his 18th.
Ortiz hits from that, out of that open stance. That really helps him to generate a lot of power, and he turns on that breaking ball with David Ortiz finish. High finish, the one-arm swing, hits it in the second deck.
Second time in the series that Boston has gone back-to-back. Euclid, first pitch, Lyle Overbay into the shade. And he is out. But not before the Red Sox do all their damage with 2 outs in the inning, spoiling Jesse Litch's no-hitter and his shutout. Darnell McDonald with the 2-run blast. Sox lead at 3-0. Fan Club, and you can find out. Join the club and participate in a road trip to July, the 24th and 25th of the month. The road trip includes transportation, hotel, tickets, meet and greet with the players. For more information, call 416-341-1455, BlueJays.com/fan club. So Fred Lewis leads it off, and as you suspected, Pat, Beltre out of the game. Eric Patterson moves in to play second, and you called it.
Bill Hall over to third base. He's played 6 different positions this year. Well, add a 7th. Third base now. Bill Hall will slide over there.
1-0 pitch to Fred Lewis. Lifted out of play on the left side.
Hall's played some games at left field, center field, right field, second base, shortstop, now third, and he actually pitched in a game.
You think he catches before the year's out?
If he's smart, he doesn't.
Things going so swimmingly well for Jesse Litch. He struck out 3 in a row, got back to the top of the order, and that old Marco Scutaro got him. A double, 2-run home run by McDonald, a solo shot followed that up by Ortiz, and the Red Sox have jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Inside to Lewis.
Struck him out with that cutter right in on his hands the last time he was at the plate.
We'll see if they go back in on Fred Lewis. Matsuzaka rocks. Lewis to left field. Daniel Nava on the track.
You could win an all-new Honda CRZ and other great prizes when you vote for the Honda Play of the Game. Vote today at BlueJays.com.
One down in the bottom of the 6th inning for Alex Gonzalez. Gonzalez is 1 of 2 on the afternoon. Sam Cosentino, Pat Tabler, Scott Carson with you here on this Sunday afternoon. The final game before the All-Star break. And you have to think now that Joe Girardi would surely have to consider this guy. If Beltre can't go, and I'm sure he wouldn't want to play, that Gonzalez would be considered.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, what the prognosis is and what the problems are. He wants to play in that game, so we'll see. But if there is a pecking order, and if there is a guy who's next in line, if you will, it's got to be Alex Gonzalez at his great number.
Beltre, surely being a first-time All-Star, would not want to miss that experience. So still to be determined here.
Matsusaka has been so good this afternoon. Here's a pitcher that came into this game 65 innings pitched this year, 97 base runners allowed, pitching in and out of trouble all season long, but today he's been outstanding. He's just given up 3 hits and 3 base runners, has not walked a batter.
Gonzalez with his 2nd hit of the game, so continuing to try and make his case. And a good response there from the Blue Jays. With 1 out, Gonzalez singles. That brings up Jose Bautista.
His swing has been so short and so compact this whole homestand. Matsusaka tries to throw a fastball, and he just gets the barrel of the bat to the ball quickly. Good piece of hitting there. He doubled his first time up. He's got now a multi-hit game with that single.
Always a threat to go deep. The Major League's leader in home runs with 24. Jose Bautista offered at the first pitch in his first 2 at-bats, and this one a little in for him. .56 driven in. And that doesn't speak at all to how well he's played right field.
Yeah, we keep talking about his home runs and his RBIs, and he leads the American League in outfield assists. He has played flawless in right field.
Popped up to the right side. J.D. Drew coming in. Patterson going out, but it will be Drew who takes it. From one All-Star to another, we go to Vernon Wells with 2 down. Wells looking forward to participating in the home run derby. He has that easygoing mentality, and earlier saying that he may test drive John Buck as his pitcher. We'll see how that works out. Hit on the ground, first pitch, and Scudero goes the easy way to Patterson, and the inning is over. Gonzalez's single stranded the Blue Jays trail by 3.
Three players that we're going to follow during this game. At the beginning, we talked about Jesse Litch looking for his first win since the arm problems. He's been outstanding today, I think. Just those couple of home runs have been his only problems. Daisuke Matsusaka coming into this game in his career 5-1 with a very good 3.51 earned run average versus the Blue Jays. He's been very good. And Darnell McDonald, thorn in the side for the Blue Jays all season long.
Yeah, he's put together a nice series here, although he got into the game yesterday. A couple of hits on Friday night in the opener. And right now, the decisive blow in this game, a 2-run shot in the top of the 6th inning. Eric Patterson up for the first time. He replaced Adrian Beltre, forcing Bill Hall over to third. And Patterson has also been a really nice pickup. Litch now up at 89 pitches in this game. Patterson, wow. Bat head goes flying, ball goes foul, and he is left with the handle, and that's it.
You know, I have never seen so many bats just explode, even when you get it right on the barrel. That one looked like it was right down Broadway, and he hit it on the barrel and shattered his bat.
Started right about the hip and then drifted towards the middle of the plate. It turns into a broken bat. Similar type swing by Patterson, but this one's foul. The Blue Jays are going to need to find some offense here if they want to go into the break above 500.
Jesse Litch in the 6th inning gave up the 3 runs and got a 3-2 count here against Patterson. Comes back to get him. That is a good sign for Litch to come back, get that first guy, because Cito Gaston is thinking maybe he's running out of gas.
As Casey Jansen continues to get loose. The last time we saw Casey was getting tossed out of the game Friday night. Had a pretty interesting conversation. That's the first time he's been thrown out of anything. A game at any level, in any sport, bar, restaurant, anything. That's the first time he's been thrown out anywhere.
He was pretty emphatic.
He was fired up.
Yeah. I mean, that was his run. And they sent him back.
So essentially he got tossed for being right.
For being right.
It's going to cost him a little bit too, I'm sure. 1-0 pitch to J.D. Drew. Tapped in front of the mound, where Litch comes off the mound in a hurry and makes a solid throw to first, 2 down.
Attaway, you give up the 3 and you come right back throwing strikes, getting a couple of hitters who've been very hot of late. You have Patterson and Drew, and now you got to deal with Hall.
Bruce Walton continuing to take notes on this Litch start. The Jays get the luxury of having that one extra day after the break, and so they won't get back into action as Bill Hall past the diving Aaron Hill into right field.
Hall has had a very good series for the Boston Red Sox. He had 3 extra base hits on Friday, a couple of doubles and a home run, and then singles here with 2 outs in the 7th inning.
And that's sort of how it happened in the 6th. 2 quick outs on strikeouts for Litch before Scudero doubled, and then things quickly came unraveled.
Happened in his last start also against Minnesota. 6th inning, got that first out, and then home run and a home run by Morneau and Kubo back to back. But in that start, in that inning, he wasn't able to get the ball down. Everything was just leaking up. Today, into the 7th inning, he still has good life on his fastball. Good action in the strike zone, and he's got the ball down, which is so important for him.
He felt that Patterson fly ball to lead off the inning to just a little bit left of center was a good indication of that.
Yeah.
Cito Gaston likes to be able to get his starters into a position where they can win the game. If Litch can get out of the inning here, he's right near that 100 pitch mark. He'll have to get some offense in the bottom half in order to have that opportunity to win his first game since the surgery. Good late life there from Litch. Five 2/3 of no-hit ball for the Jays righty. For 3 consecutive hits, meant a 3-0 lead for Boston, and that's where we stand now. And Nava strikes out, so Litch gets out of the inning by striking out Daniel Nava. The Bill Hall 2-out hit is stranded as Nava goes down swinging. At Bat 2010, follow the Blue Jays on your BlackBerry, iPhone, or iPod Touch. BlueJays.com for more details. A pretty cool app, and I know there's some people out there that are currently using the At Bat 2010. The Blue Jays trail 3-0. Sam Cosentino and Pat Tabler with you on this Sunday afternoon. A beautiful day at the ballpark. The Rogers Center has got the sunroof open. Some technical difficulties won't allow the roof to entirely open, so we go with the sunroof here this afternoon. Adam Lynn leads it off for the Jays in the bottom of the 7th. First pitch swinging, and there it goes. The 0 for 19 against Daisuke Matsuzaka is now in the books. Aaron Lynn with a leadoff single in the 7th. Adam Lynn.
Not wasting any time. Lynn goes up there, knows he's going to get a first pitch fastball, and goes the other way with it. That's the same pitch that he struck him out on his first time up. That time, stay right on it.
He's had about enough of Daisuke. He's seen enough of that. 1 for 20 now off Matsuzaka as John Farrell, the pitching coach, comes out for a visit.
Matsuzaka might be on a short leash now as they get into the later parts of this game. Their bullpen is well rested. Daniel Bard is up for the Boston Red Sox. He has pitched just once in the last 9 games, so if they need 2 innings out of him and then their closer for the 9th, Terry Francona won't hesitate to go to him.
Matsuzaka will be given a chance here to get Aaron Hill. First pitch swinging. Hill, left field. This one is hit a ton. It has lift, it has life, and it has left. Home run, Aaron Hill. #12th home run of the year. And the Blue Jays are back in it.
You're never out of it when you've got guys who can hit the ball out of the ballpark, especially with runners on base. High fastball. They wanted it down and away, and it's over the middle of the plate, right in the swing plane of Aaron Hill. Long home run, high and majestic. And with that home run, Terry Francona is out, and that's going to be it.
Quick visit from John Farrell, the pitching coach, and the next pitch Aaron Hill sees, he hits it out of the park. The Blue Jays trail by 1, nobody out in the bottom of the 7th.
Daisuke Matsuzaka's afternoon is over after 6+2 batters here. Pitched very well. No walks. The 2 runs earned after the single, then the home run by Aaron Hill. So Matsuzaka looking for the W. First pitch swinging, Aaron Hill, high fastball right into a swing plane. And that makes it a one-run game. Matsusaka looking for his 6th win of the season. If he does, it's going to be up to the bullpen to save it for him.
Hard throwing Daniel Bard.
Take a look at some of those numbers that Bard possesses. An ideal setup man right in front of Jonathan Papelbon. Great numbers, 44 strikeouts. That is 3rd in relief strikeouts in the American League. His 40 games. It's tied for 8th in the AL. Throws very hard. Fastball right over the top and a good breaking ball.
And working on a lot of rest. So the Jays may try and be patient here, knowing that Bard has only worked once in the last 9. Aaron Hills, 12th of the year, has drawn the Blue Jays to within 1. Overbay 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Bard works the 2-1. Overbay hits it hard right at center fielder Darnell McDonald.
Wow, that ball was smoked by Overbay. Nothing you can do about that, though. He puts on a good swing against a hard-throwing relief pitcher in Bard and has nothing to show for it.
To the All-Star catcher we go. John Buck, 1 for 2 in the game, hitting .275 on the season. Bard delivers. Buck first pitch swinging. Bill Hall over to cut off the shortstop Scudero. 2 down.
Even though he throws the ball 96, 98 miles an hour, Blue Jays lineup is full of first pitch fastball hitters. So Bard's going to have to locate that fastball to be effective here. Encarnacion is always hunting fastball first pitch, down and in.
Hit right back up the middle past Bard. Patterson dives, but he too can't get to it, and Encarnacion keeps the inning alive.
He knows that Bard will come after you with that good overhand fastball, so he doesn't wait around at all. Sends it right back through the middle for his 2nd hit of the afternoon.
Fred Lewis gets a chance against Daniel Bard. Lewis has seen him just once. And yet another Blue Jays hitter who likes to attack early in the count. Euclid holds Encarnacion on it first. Lewis, center field. Darnell McDonald running in, makes the catch, but the Blue Jays respond. After a 3-run 6, the Blue Jays come back in the 7th. Aaron Hill's 12th of the year has the Blue Jays to within 1. On quality vehicles, summer's a great time to buy a Toyota. Boston with 3 runs on 4 hits. They have not committed an error and have left 2 runners on base. The Blue Jays 2-7-0 and 5. Yet it's the Red Sox who are in the lead 3-2. Casey Janssen on in relief of Jesse Litch. Top of the 8th inning at the Rogers Center. Filling in for Buck Martinez, Sam Cosentino with Pat Tabler. The last game before the All-Star break. 9-hole hitter Kevin Cash.
Casey Janssen picks up where Jesse Litch left off. 32nd game now for Janssen. Opponent's hitting .239 against him. He actually does better against left-handers this season. Very tidy 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Lefty's hitting $185 off of Janssen. He has given Cito Gaston some pretty good innings his last few times out.
It's been the All-Star break in the Toronto area. And someone who, even to this point in the season, after a couple of injury-plagued seasons, says he feels great. And that's a good sign for the Blue Jays, because going back 3 years ago, he was sensational, working 1 and 2 innings, 6th, 7th, sometimes an 8th inning guy, and very key piece in the bullpen. Cash right over the head of Gonzalez. So Kevin Cash picks up his 2nd hit in 17 at-bats against right-handed pitching with that hit to center field.
Well, a leadoff batter on in here in the 8th inning now in a 1-run game, and you got Marco Scudero at the plate who can do a lot of different things. Wouldn't be surprised to see him try and drop one down and get that runner into scoring position for the middle of that lineup. He can handle that bat.
Encarnacion even with the bag. Scudero showing no signs and looks at strike 1.
He'll do it on his own, where he will not sacrifice bunt, but drop a drag bunt down and try and beat it out. Very adept at doing that. Right at the last second, he drops the head of the bat out, and the ball dives right up the third baseline.
Jansen checks Cash, and Scudero doesn't offer. Not much of a lead for Cash at first. Now Scudero shows bunt, but pulls it away. Tim Bogar, the third base coach, issues the signs. And an all-important run on at first for the Red Sox. Scudero swinging away, right field. Jose Bautista a few steps back. And that's the first out of the inning.
Good job by Jesse Litch as his afternoon comes to an end. 7 innings. That's the second time this year that he has gotten 7 innings out. Just 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. I thought he was much sharper today. His ball had great action on it, cutting it and sinking it. He continues to pitch well against the Red Sox in his career. Gave up just those 3 earned runs, the 2-run homer, then the home run to Ortiz.
Cito Gaston on the phone, checking up on the bullpen. And McDonald fouls this pitch away. It was announced today that coming out of the break, Ricky Romero will get the first start. Brandon Morrow will pitch out of the 2-hole, and Sean Markham will return off the disabled list to pitch the 3rd game. But there were no determinants thereafter, and I think with these 2 guys healthy and ready to go, that Cito Gaston wanted to wait to see what Litch was going to bring to the table today. And that would probably determine whether or not, I'm sure Cecil is the one in there, but the determination would be, is it Litch, is it Zepchinski?
I think Jesse answered that today. This was his best outing. of the season, I think, against a very good hitting team, Boston Red Sox. And he pumped a lot of strikes in there. Pitched very well.
Jansen, long look over to Cash. And he misses away to McDonald. Blue Jays a little thin in that bullpen, and David Percy starts to get loose. Nice bounce back year for David Percy. One out in the top of the 8th. Darnell McDonald again lifts it to the right side. Bautista will not get in there. It just lands around that first row in a nice souvenir. McDonald started the scoring in this game. His 6th home run of the year, a 2-run shot in the 6th inning, gave the Red Sox a 2-0 lead. David Ortiz followed that up with a solo shot, his 36th all-time against the Blue Jays. And that gave the Red Sox a 3-0 lead. But the Blue Jays responded. Adam Lind, with his first hit ever off Daisuke Matsuzaka in the bottom of the 7th, was followed up by an Aaron Hill home run, his 12th. And that's where we stand here. Blue Jays trailing 3-2 thanks to Hill's fine bat work. Hit on the ground. Gonzalez flips to Aaron Hill, and the relay completes the double play. So Casey Jansen gives up a leadoff hit and then comes back and induces the double play. Monday, July 26th against Baltimore, 7:07. First pitch time. Get your best 80s outfit and come on down to the Rogers Center for a fun night of 80s pop culture. Lots of prizes and fun to be had. Tickets at 416-341-1455. BlueJays.com/tickets. The box office, most Rogers Plus locations. Should be a fun night.
Yeah, we'll get into it. I know the Blue Jays are going to throw their throwback jerseys on.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. Maybe a little Tears for Fears and Madonna between innings. Some hair rock. Is that what they call it? Hair metal rock or hair rock? Scotty, what do they call it?
Hair rock.
Yeah, where they have the long hair and, you know, all the bands that were in that era.
Oh, heavy metal.
Hair metal.
Hair metal.
Hair metal. Yeah, I knew something. Like Whitesnake. Gonzalez on the ground. Second baseman Patterson.
Right fielder, number 19, Jose Bautista.
this game before the break. It's the Blue Jays trailing the Red Sox 3-2 in a season series that to this point has been owned by Boston. 6-2 in the first 8 games of this season-long series. Bautista, first pitch swinging to Scudero. And there are 2 down.
You know, the thing about the series, about the Red Sox this year, is they've had games where they haven't pitched well in one. They've had games where they have pitched really well, where their starter has given them enough innings to go deep into the game, and they set up their bullpen towards the end. Francona's got some really good relievers that he can go to late in the game. Okajima, Bard, and now Papelbon. And it has set up at times really nicely for him.
Vernon Wells has attacked the first pitch he's seen in each of his first 3 at-bats of this game. 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Trip to Anaheim awaits, but Wells still has some business to take care of here. The Blue Jays trying to claw back and get above the 500 mark going into the All-Star break. Bard has different ideas.
Good 2-0 fastball on the outer edge. The scoreboard here registering that one at 100 miles an hour.
Yikes.
He is tied for the AL lead and holds with 18, and you can see why.
Wells tries to equal that with a big swing there. Up to 99 now. 100, 99. I mean, I guess that's what a little rest will do for you. And knowing that you've got 4 days coming up. He has been deadly against right-handed hitters. Hitting 111 off him this year, and Wells will watch that pitch go by. So Bard does some fine work in the bottom of the 8th inning, culminating in this, a strikeout of Vernon Wells. Baseball partnership that may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. So the Blue Jays go to the bullpen once again, this time for David Percy.
Third pitcher of the afternoon for the Toronto Blue Jays, David Percy, out of the bullpen and onto the mound to face a couple of left-handers this inning. Percy's numbers keep getting better and better. Take a look at that opponent's batting average of 175. He pitched a couple of nights ago against the Red Sox. He recorded 7 outs, 3 of them by strikeouts against the Red Sox. He also had a couple of walks there. Pitching more effectively as we get into the season out of the bullpen for Cito Gaston.
Percy's first order of business is David Ortiz. And Pat, you look at David Percy, a lot of hype coming in as a starter, had trouble finding the strike zone. They tail back his repertoire. He comes back in and has done a fine job here with the Blue Jays in a relief role. Is he a guy that you see long-term remain in the bullpen, or is he a guy that maybe goes back to being a starter?
You know, you could possibly put him in the starter, but as a starter, you need at least 3 pitches. And I think by taking his pitch sequences and bringing him down, I think he's better suited to the bullpen. Blue Jays do not have many power arms to go to from the left side. And he is a power arm. A guy can come in and pick up strikeouts.
1-1 to Ortiz. Big swing there from one of the participants in the home run derby.
You were talking earlier today about Ortiz and the slow start that he has had, but over the last 2 months, there's been only one player have more RBIs than this man right here. That is Vladimir Guerrero with the Rangers, who's driven in 55 runs over the last 2 months.
Huge reason why the Red Sox have been able to keep pace in the American League East, because Ortiz and his resurgence has allowed them to go through some very key injuries.
Yeah,
up and down the line.
They've really struggled with the injuries, and it looks like the veteran hitters for the Red Sox are pulling it up a notch.
And Ortiz felt he missed one there.
Picking it up and coming up with big hits. No one has hit more home runs over the last 2 months than David Ortiz also.
And so Ortiz back to being an all-star. Percy deals the 2-2. Strike 3. Commentator clothing provided in part by Zenia. Our statistical information is provided by Statsing. And the music you hear in the background provided by Universal Canada.
A very dangerous hitter in David Ortiz, but David Percy throws a good hard pitch down and away from him. Strikes him out. That's what he can bring to the table late in the game.
And gets ahead of Youkilis. Quiet afternoon to this point for Youkilis, 0 for 3. I even see a difference in the way Percy works out of the bullpen. A lot quicker, seems to be a lot more confident, seems to be very in tune with what he wants to do from the second he walks out of that bullpen gate.
He had a couple of starts last year. Tampa, I remember one of them, and Minnesota, where it's basically fastball, breaking ball, and he was very effective. Maybe the Blue Jays picked up on that and said, why don't you pitch like that all the time? And it started in spring training.
But I really like your assertion that they really don't have a hard-throwing lefty out of that pen. And Percy has indeed added that element. Youkilis, first hit of the afternoon, base hit to left. The Blue Jays are back in action after the All-Star break here on Rogers Sportsnet. That's Friday, July 16th against the Orioles. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Sportsnet, Ontario, West, and Pacific channels. So a little break in the Blue Jays back in action. So getting that one extra day, always very nice. The Blue Jays will work out in Baltimore on Thursday afternoon, all except for the All-Stars who've been given that time off and really just need to show up to the ballpark on Friday and get ready to go for the second half. First pitch swinging from Patterson. 6 home runs, 12 driven in. Came in to replace the injured Adrian Beltre. Patterson moved to second base. Bill Hall slid to third. Second at bat for Patterson in this game, and he's not getting cheated.
No, he doesn't. He gets up there and he just lets it go. That high fastball at the top of the zone is a good pitch for David Percy.
Tries to climb the ladder again. And fouled back. A pretty good fight being put up by Eric Patterson right now.
He's putting fastball in the mind of Patterson. And you have to start that bat a little bit sooner when a guy like David Percy can throw at 92, 93 miles an hour. Maybe it's time to drop that slider on him right here.
Quick look at the runner at first. Percy misses down in the zone and away. Blue Jays trailing 3-2 in the top of the ninth. Duplessis is the Red Sox runner at first. Patterson has battled back to a full count. Full count pitch on the way. Euclid is off and running, and Patterson fouls it off. Patterson and Percy toe-to-toe here in the ninth inning. It's a full count. Lefty versus lefty. Up and in, and Patterson draws the walk. MLB.TV. Enjoy the rest of the 2010 baseball season with MLB.TV. Watch out-of-market games live or on demand in HD quality. Packages start at $79.95 for the remainder of the season. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. A solid plate appearance for Eric Patterson to draw the walk. He was behind in the count early, battled the back, fouled a couple of pitches off.
Laid off of some pretty good pitches to pick up that walk, and now you got your work cut out for you, J.D. Drew.
Drew hitting just 188 against left-handed pitching. Well, this matchup skewed in the favor of Percy, certainly.
But you know you're going to see a lot of pitches when Drew is at the plate. He's got a great on-base percentage, draws a lot of walks. Since 2004, J.D. Drew ranks among the major league leaders in plate appearances per walk. His on-base percentage is nearly 400 since 2004 also.
A coveted statistic by the Boston Red Sox. Cut there from Drew. Opted out of a long-term deal with the Dodgers to sign with the Red Sox. Percy works, and it's fouled back. Drew is one of those quiet guys, an unassuming player. Been hurt at times where he's missed stretches of games and gotten back into the lineup and plays a decent right field.
When he's healthy, he produces for any team that he has played on.
Euclid is at second. Patterson is at first. Pitch to J.D. Drew, and again it's fouled back.
How about that? Shows him a breaking ball, and he just flicks his bat out there to keep the at-bat alive. just fouling it off. You were talking about that earlier. How many foul balls did they have in the game yesterday?
41.
41 foul balls to keep at bats alive. Watch Drew. He is fooled by the pitch, keeps his hands back, and just kind of pokes his bat out there to keep the AB alive.
Brandon Morrow was victim of 23 foul balls, which elevated his pitch count to over 100 after 4 innings. Hit on the ground. Aaron Hill dives. He does not have a chance to go to second. Instead goes to first to get the sure out, but the runners advance.
I think if he comes up with that ball cleanly, as he reached into his glove, it looked like he didn't have the good grip on the ball. He would have come up and nailed that middle runner in the diamond. But when he first went into his glove, it didn't look like he had the grip. So he does the sure thing, doesn't panic, stays under control, and gets the out over at first base.
Quick visit to the mound by Bruce Walton as John Buck makes his way out there as well. And want to be careful with Bill Hall. Someone we have not seen in this series, Jonathan Papelbon, at the ready.
Yeah, locked and loaded. He got up at the start of this inning, and a walk and a base hit and a strikeout. So there's been a lot of pitches this inning, so he's ready to go.
Tidy work by Daniel Bard. Bridge that gap from Matsuzaka to Papelbon. So Hall steps in. Hall hitting .354 with runners on. And he's got 2 of them on right now. Percy delivers. And there you have it, another foul ball. You know, it's one thing to be patient and see a lot of pitches and draw walks and get on base, but it is another thing entirely to be able to foul off tough pitches and elevate pitch counts.
Yeah, it makes it awfully tough on the pitchers, where you have to keep making good pitches.
Litch's 7 innings today is the first time in the 8 games, which is now 9 games because of today, where the Jays starter has gone longer than the Red Sox starter. And so Boston, all season series long, has been highly effective in getting into that Blue Jays bullpen. Hall is 1 for 3. He singled in his last at bat.
Good pitch there. I like what Cito Gaston is doing here, is letting David Percy try and figure his way out of that, instead of going to the pen and going right to a right-hander. David, you got yourself in here. Let me see you get yourself out of this. That's what Cito Gaston does with these young pitchers. It gives them a chance to figure it out.
Percy has a chance to prove himself here. 2 out, 2 runners on. 1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. So Percy issues a walk, a hit, and a couple of strikeouts, including this one on Bill Hall. the Whopper.
No one has hit more home runs than David Ortiz over the last 2 months, and this is a big one here off of Jesse Lynch. It reaches the second deck in right field, and as we stand right now in the bottom of the 9th inning, that is the difference of the game. Ortiz followed up a home run by McDonald with that long one.
So the Blue Jays down to their final 3 outs. And they'll have to try and get it done against the Boston closer, Jonathan Papelbon.
There's Papelbon into the ball game for the 35th time. He's got very good numbers, 19 for 22 in saves, opponent's batting average of 211, right-handers hitting 123, lefties 282, 27 hits in the 35 innings, averaging a strikeout an inning. Good hard fastball. He'll throw a split up there. He's been known to throw a little bit of a slider also. Papelbon has been one of the better closers in baseball over the last few years.
And Adam Lynn will get first crack. First pitch hit to left field. Daniel Nava is there. Stay tuned later this afternoon for more Major League Baseball action right here on Rogers Sportsnet. The New York Yankees wrapped up their 4-game set against Seattle. 4:30 Eastern, 1:30 Pacific, coming up right after Connected. Aaron Hill has provided all the offense and extends the Blue Jays' streak to 8 straight games with a home run. His 2-run shot in the 7th was his 12th of the year, but he won't do it this time. 2 pitches, 2 outs for Papelbon. Stay tuned right after the game for Sportsnet Connected with Damian Goddard. Full Jays post along with highlights from the World Cup final. Get connected right after the game.
We were talking about it when Daniel Bard was out there, that Bard hadn't pitched but just once in the last 9 games. Papelbon is the same way, just once in the last 7 games. Blue Jays go up there very quickly, swinging at the first 2 pitches against Papelbon. I'd be surprised if Overbay does the same.
And to be a more patient hitter. 4 for 13 lifetime off of Papelbon. And the pitch up and away. Overbay hitting .382 here in the month of July, coming into this contest. He is 0 for 3 in the afternoon. The Blue Jays down to their final out. Way inside. Now,
isn't this getting interesting?
3-0 to Overbay, with the All-Star John Buck on deck.
Definitely has ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Overbay will probably take 2 here to get on base.
There's one.
Papelbon earned his 19th save 9 days ago versus the Baltimore Orioles, and that 19 saves are now tied for 6th in the American League.
26,062 on hand here to witness this game this afternoon. 3-1 pitch to Overbay, swinging, and he delivers a base hit to left field. Hawk hitting Lyle Overbay.
And as soon as Overbay delivers that base hit with 2 outs, Dwayne Wise is going to come out of the dugout and pinch run for him. A little bit more speed to score on an extra base hit. Ball down and away, going away from Overbay. Doesn't try and pull it, stays right on it. He has been swinging a very hot bat over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
And extends his hit streak to 7 games in his final at bat before the All-Star break. Dwayne Wise comes in off the bench. And the Blue Jays trail by a run down to their final out, and it's all-star catcher John Buck. Throw over to Wise. Buck has seen Papelbon twice in his career and is 0 for 2 in those at-bats.
And the outfield is going to play very deep. Buck's got extra base pop in that bat. They want to cut off any ball in the gaps down the line, anything, so Wise cannot score from first base.
Buck hits it hard, but he hits it high. Everyone's surrounding it, but it's Marco Scudero who will take it. So the Red Sox hang on to win it 3-2, thanks to David Ortiz's 18th home run of the year.
Daisuke Matsusaka was very good today, I thought, for the Boston Red Sox. Jesse Litch matched him pitch for pitch, no hit into the 6th inning. But it set up nicely for the Red Sox bullpen, who's one of the best in the American League.
So Ortiz gets the job done. He continues and will take it right in to the All-Star break. The Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game coming up on Sportsnet. For Scott Carson, Pat Tabler, and our entire Sportsnet crew, I'm Sam Cosentino saying good afternoon.